Hello everyone, welcome to this short video guide for contributors to the Education CCMAS book, Fundamentals of Education. Today and every other day, we must give God a weakness. And what will He do in return? He will give us His strength. That's what you have behind here. Give God your weakness and He will give you His strength. Now, I'd like to doff my heart for the contributors to the education book. Where's the heart? Oh, yeah, the heart is here. Yeah, so this is the heart, but okay, I doff it. I doff my heart for all of you for the wonderful things that you have done, putting the draft together. And so what is left? Because we've got the feedback from reviewers, several reviewers, and it's now to turn over to you so that you will take cognizance of the recommendations of the reviewers and then have an improved draft. Because what are we aiming at? We are aiming at the mother of all books in education. So let's begin this journey. Yes, so the journey begins in earnest. The journey, a guide to revision of chapters by contributors. You know, just a few days back, actually about 2 weeks plus, March 1, we presented for the world to see the fundamentals, the draft, book 1, the draft. And today is March the 18th, election day. Peter Okebukola, as I mentioned earlier, and we're here on that journey. As I said at the beginning, the intro, I want first thing first to congratulate all of you on a good first draft. And we have received reviews from a number of groups of people, from contributors, co-contributors, you people that contributed, the contributors to the book, Fundamentals Education Book 1. That's the internal review. There were scholars in education. We made available to everybody, and those in education, the Nigerian university system, all the professors, mainly for full professors, to send in their comments. And then we have 4 A-level students. Indeed, one of the contributors was, why is it necessary to do this? I think that's out of, I don't know what to say, but maybe ignorance. Because, see, this book just came out a few days ago, actually on the 13th, today is the 18th, Quality Assurance in Higher Education Across the World, which we had 45 scholars all over the world in the area of quality assurance in higher education. And what did we do? Among other things, we did internal review. And that is the new trend. I mean, you get contributors together, let them do internal review. And in fact, what I found is that internal reviews from the contributors here, this book, came out to be top class, and it helped the individual contributors. The same thing that we did, which you will see in a minute, that you all reviewed. It's like, okay, I wrote a chapter on methods of teaching. 3 other people wrote a method of teaching. So we're able to see get the hang of what the others did and what the weaknesses are and the strengths are. So we synthesized the feedback from our different reviewers, just yesterday, 12 noon yesterday. So you can see how hard God has been helping us to be working. As I mentioned, we've given God our weakness and He's giving us our strength, giving us His strength. So we're able to harvest the strengths of your chapter reported by the internal reviewers, by the external reviewers, and by the students. We're also able to harvest the weaknesses as reported by the internal reviewers, the external and the student reviewers, and the suggestions for improvement. And then we ask the students, language level, how do you assess it? Between 1 and 5. 1 is very easy, the other one is very difficult. And then we ask the students to give suggestions for improving the language level. So we've got this synthesis all ready for you. Now, what are the steps in the revision process? 8 of them, as you can see, 8 steps in the revision process. These are the 8 steps. Let's begin with step 1. Step 1 is for you. You're going to get the full complements of the review reports. What we want you to do is to read carefully the summary of the feedback on your chapter. So let's look at how chapter 1 goes. Yeah, I'm sorry, how step 1, goes. And I'm taking chapter 1. I think I got concluded with chapter 1. So you had chapter 1 here, the concept and dimensions of education by Aminu Kankia Dalat. I'm using this as an example, actually chapter 1. So you have strengths as reported by internal, external, and student reviewers. So you have all of the author adheres strictly the template given. It provides detailed clarifications of education, even from self-perspective. Education was classified into this and all of that, demerits and all of that. So these are the strengths. We harvested for the 3 clusters or the 3 groups of reviewers here. This is an example and it applies to all the chapters. So what are the weaknesses? The overview only dwelled on classification of education. Dimensions of education was not discussed here holistically. The overview will have been written as a simple introduction and all of that. So you can say this. So you can say it's full. I suggest should be written or recast objectives for ease of knowledge and understanding. So this is another example. There's suggestions for improvement. As reported, overview should be, look, we want you at the end of the day, look at what the weaknesses are, because I found that the suggestions for improvement, they did not capture all some of the things that were said here. So just look at this. Read. Your step 1 in the review process is to read this carefully. That's the first thing. And that's what we're doing here. The language level assessed by students, it is easy. Student suggestions for improving language level. You can read this. You find a few interesting errors by the students, but that's those are students. So under chapter 1, concept and dimensions of education, strengths as reported by internal reviewers. You can see this ones here. The weaknesses, the overview is scanty, no objective or importance, whatever it is. Let's see this. No tablet and diagram with no titles. Well, that's, I think, in the tables. All of this. So you can see this ones here. The language level moderate. Student suggestions, they have indicated it here. Use less complicated terminologies. Use better. So it goes on to the next one and the next one like that. So that is step 1. Step 1. Just read this thing very carefully. I've only extracted for chapter 1, A and B. So let's take on, we've done step 1. Read carefully the summary of the feedback on your chapter very carefully. Step 2, extract your chapter from the draft compilation. Please do not use, I'd like you to know this, please do not use your original submission. If you use your original submission, we will not accept it. So we're going to use your chapter you extracted from the draft compilation. Where are you going to get that? I'm going to send you the Word version. The one that you have is a PDF version. We're going to send you the Word version, Microsoft Word version of the book, and I'll show you how it's extracted. Now, this is the Microsoft Word version we're going to send to everybody. You can see first draft, Fundamentals of Education, Book 1, March 18, 2023. That's today. So you'll see it. So what you do, you're going to get this. I've removed the watermark. So you just go to your chapter. If you are chapter 1A, for instance, just go here and it gives you chapter 1A. So what are you going to do? You have to extract. That's what. Extract your chapter. Extract it. Take it out from here. Like this. Yeah, it ends there. It ends there. This is 1B. So copy like this. I've just drawn Control-C. And then create another file and put it like this. And then save it. I'm going to tell you how to save it. So this is what you're going to have. And indeed, let me tell you how you save it. You save it as, let me look for a location for we're going to name it as chapter 1A, then the surname of the, that's it, can't care, the surname of the contributor or author. So that's the thing. So this has to come out. Why are we saying you should use it? We're saying you should use this because it took me 24 solid hours to transform it from what you submitted and this. Because some of you were styling it, putting it in 1, in 2. We don't want that. We already styled this thing like this, so it has to be like this. So please and please, if you submit from your original, we are not going to accept it. So use this exactly as it is. Make all your corrections on this version, and this is what you are going to send to us. Do not change anything. Do not be styling it heading 1, heading 2. No. Because we have harmonized all the headings in the draft that we compiled. Shall we proceed to step 3 of it? Yes, because we have done step 2, extract your chapter from the draft compilation. Please do not use the original submission. I emphasize that. So step 3 of 8 is proceed to revise the extracted chapter using the feedback from the 3 sets of reviewers. Make note of your responses and actions to the reviewers' recommendations, as you will need to provide these in the submission form. There's going to be a submission form, and we already have a checklist of what the reviewers are saying you should do. So if that is not done, we'll return it to you. So it's better that you follow the revision very carefully, because we are going to check at the end of the day. So how does this work? Let me show you how this works. So this is how it works. You go to look at, okay, the strengths. Don't bother about the strength. Look at the weaknesses and then the recommendations. These two rows are very important. So look at it. The overview is scanty, meaning that the author or contributor is being asked to beef up the overview. No objective on importance of education for national, regional, and global development. That is that you should provide that objective. No separation among importance of education and national, regional, and global development. No objective on theories of education. Basic theories of education, humanism, and all that are not treated in this chapter. The thing to add in this chapter, the concept and dimensions of education. Okay, this is by okay, fine. Yeah, so well, you should consider that. That's what is being asked. Let's look at the one we're taking on here now, because we are doing that of Professor Kankia. The overview only dwelled on clarification of education. Dimension of education was not discussed holistically. So that has to be the overview. The overview will have been written as a simple introduction to a chapter. So you have to do this. You have to now come back to your, okay, let's see some others. The verb like this one, the verb like to write should be deleted in objective 2 and 3 respectively, while objective 5 should be split to state separately from to explain. Okay, let's look at it. Yeah, so back to Professor Kankia's chapter, the concept and dimensions of education. By the end of this chapter, students should be able to write and explain. No. You know, I think we should know this. We can't have what they call double barrel action words. So it's either the reviewer is saying remove this right and just put explain definition, and they write and explain. This is not correct at all. State and explain, that's not correct at all. We should know as educators, they should be copying us that you don't say state and then explain. Those are 2 action verbs put together. It has to be just one. So the write and explain and all of that. So I think such adjustments will need to be made. Then we have another one. The weakness with this chapter is the importance that the author listed in terms of national development and all of that are not enough. This will restrict the thinking of the students to think that the ones provided are all of the importance. So that's needing to have some more listing of the importance. References do not follow and are there to the latest APA Style 2019 edition. So you got to look at the APA Style 2019 edition and then apply to it. How do you get it? Quite straightforward. Just Google it like this. Yeah, so if you Google it, APA 2020 format, you get APA 7th edition, in-text citation, whatever it is, was official, general format. So if you go to referencing and formatting with APA 7th edition, so you go to get something from here. So all this does not apply to Professor Kankia, it applies to everybody in our group. We should also look at student suggestions for improving language level. This is very, very important. From my view, having taken time to read line by line is of the best language level for undergraduate. Congratulations, Professor Kankia, regardless of level. The author made use of simple and relatable English terms. The language level is good. The language level used for this chapter is a very understandable one. As far as the language of this chapter is concerned, the language is okay for undergraduates to understand. The chapter level good enough for an undergraduate student. The language are very easy and simple to understand, so it's well written. So we must pay attention to this. So for Prosocankia, the students say, oh, they are happy with it. So, but if there's an area that you think can be touched up, you may wish to do that. So we're done with step number 3. Let's go to 4. Recall that step number 3 is we proceed to revise the extracted chapter using the feedback from 3 sets of reviewer. Make note of your responses and actions to reverse recommendations. You will need to provide this in the submission form. Number 4 is that we should add at least 3 high-quality illustrations to what originally exists in your first draft. So if you have a draft, the first draft that has no illustration at all, we'll expect 3 at minimum, at least here, at least. But if you had some before, we expect additional 3 high-quality illustrations. If you like, you can get some illustrations from the internet, but you have to quote the source where that is coming from. But better still, if you're able to get some artist to draw something for you or draw something for yourself so that it's original, that's the way we are going. Thank you. So let's move on to step 5. Okay, this mixes it up. Reduce the Turnitin similarity index for a chapter. We've done actually I missed this. Step 5 is this: reduce the Turnitin similarity index for your chapter. Let's see how that one is done. For every chapter, we did what we thought was plagiarism check using Turnitin. So let's look at, because we said we'll just take the first one. Let's look at the first one. That's chapter 1A, the concept and dimensions of education. So this is the result. You'll find that for this Turnitin software, it will highlight areas where it's finding similarity with other on the web. So it has this, so you can see what is highlighted. What I then found, because I had to give to one of our technical people to do this for all the chapters, so you all will have this kind of thing. So what we're asking you to do is to strive to reduce the level of similarity that the Turnitin software is giving to you. So this is what it's telling us: the constant dimension of education similarity index is 34%, and it's told you it will mark the place and tell you where it's getting the similarity from. Number 1, number 2, number 3. You'll find the annotation here. Okay, for instance, this is number 7. Number 7 here. So if you go to number 7, where it's getting it from is www.igiglobal.com. I then decided to look at, because I use another software for plagiarism check, which is, in my view, better than this one. This one is just similarity check, and is I'm not too sure I like it. So I had to go to Turnitin to find out how this thing is interpreted. Let me show you what I found. This is what I've found, and that should not let you be alarmed at the high similarity report that you are getting. So you see, though we're known for scanning submissions for plagiarism, Turnitin actually does not check for plagiarism in your work. What we actually do is check your submissions against our database, and if there are instances where your writing is similar to or matches against one of our sources, we'll flag this for your instructor to review. Our database includes billions of web pages, both current and archived content from the internet, a repository of works other students have submitted to Turnitin in the past, and a collection of documents which comprises thousands of periodicals, journals, and publications. So let's go back to what we have here, and you'll see what my thought is getting at. So if you look at this, Professor Kankia is saying here to develop critical skills like decision making and all that, and he's quoting himself. So this is quite all right. There's no problem with this. And you can see here objectives. Is flagging objectives as something that is similar to, of course, in the internet you have millions of these things there. So objectives, flagging it. So when you get this report, we are going to send to individuals. So please just reflect on this and see how leave those things that you think you have to leave. Look at this one. By the end of this chapter, students should be able to has flagged this one. What kind of thing is that? Write and explain. Explain, has flagged off. Formal, informal, and non-formal of education and all that. So don't be alarmed. Just go through this. He has flagged this number 14 and this number 7. This one is coming from number 14 by the end of this chapter. Why not? I mean, that's what you find in education. So my suggestion is that you should just look through all of this and ensure that because we are going to do another check again at the end of it. Number 14 is saying that is coming from submitted to Fiji National University. What kind of rubbish is that one? So, but just look at it because we are going to do another check. And when I say look at it, what do I mean? What I mean is that look at this bit, and you see here, education helps one to develop critical thinking and skills like decision making, mental agility, creative problem solving, and logical thinking. Education is beyond just leave this one. This one by the end of the chapter, you leave this one, of course. Write and explain the meaning of formal, informal, and non-formal. Well, you need to leave this. Formal, informal is repeating that. That's number 7 entry. Formal education. So, but whichever one that you think you can, adjust a little bit so that the index comes down, that will be the way to go. Yeah. So we just dealt with this. Sorry, I mixed up the numbering. We've just dealt with reduce the Turnitin similarity index for your chapter. That's all we did. We did earlier add at least 3 illustrations. Let's go to number 6 of 8. Propose alternative title for your chapter if other chapters have similar titles. What are we saying here? We're saying that we have a cluster of chapters that are the same. Methods of teaching. And we ask the internal reviewers to suggest. And some were saying the title is good. What kind of title is good? You want us to have a book that will have the same title? No. We want to have titles, and as I put in here, let's put some yanga in your title. Make it exciting, make it different. So take a cluster of chapters. I think that's 10. You have almost like 7 chapters on methods of teaching. Why can't you consider some exciting titles? It's the same thing. Just keep your chapter, but put some exciting titles. Like I've just suggested some. Teaching methods down the ages. This means you're taking it from far and to the current. Or reflections on pedagogies in education. This is my own. You think about your own. But we don't want anyone that you have there retaining their chapter titles. You have to make it exciting, make it different from the general. Look at this one: the lecture and other methods of teaching, or new perspectives of methods of teaching. Then on the 21st century skills, rather than say teaching of 21st century, another look at teaching 21st century skills, something like that. So let's keep going. Let me go back to this. I think the other number 7 of 8 is to save your revised chapter as chapter number, your surname. That's what I did. That is chapter 1A dash the heart. Please don't put any other thing because you are going to cause confusion for us. So that's what it's going to be, and then you upload to the online form which we are going to provide. Let's see whether I have that one. Yeah, okay, fine. So this is number 7. Save your revised chapter as chapter number, then your surname. I did that before. That's chapter 1A, the heart. They upload to the online form provided. That online form is going to be provided, and then you upload as a Word file. Don't upload as as a PDF file, just upload as a Word file. So how long will this take? This is the process. You are getting everything today, the 18th day of March. You have like 15 pages. Let's assume you take like even 3 pages a day. You are revising 3 pages a day. So the maximum that you have, 3 pages a day, that's 5 days. In 5 days, this should be done. So we're expecting that you have as deadline for submission. Today is a Saturday. Yeah, next week, Saturday, we'll give you 8 days. Next week, Saturday, that's the 25th of March. So you have that, because we are still going to go. There are still several steps. We are still going to do plagiarism check, and we may have to get back to you if you find that you have not met the conditions. So I'm sure you will, because this is going to be the mother of all books on education. Let's see what else is there. So you have just do 3 pages a day, and in 5 days you are done with the revision, as I said, and that will be it. Yeah, so welcome to the last bus stop on the journey. It now remains for me to wish you well as you revise your chapters, and let's have the mother of all books in education. From me, Peter Okebukola, it is. Bye-bye.